Hello everybody, my name is Justin Brown and this is Hodgkin's Lymphoma Diary number 5. It's been a couple weeks, I think probably closer to a month since the last update that I did, so I figured it was time to give an update for everyone who's still watching and for me when I eventually watch these later on down the line as to what's been going on. And there's been a lot going on. First, I'm still upright and breathing, and that's always a good thing. Every day you start the day with waking up on this side is a good day. And so what has gone on? I've had a couple more treatments. I had one yesterday. Yesterday was treatment number 6, which is the halfway mark of all the chemotherapy. So I guess the true halfway mark will be in about a week or week and a half when I'm getting ready for number 7, because that's when it'll be like I'm starting everything all over again as I start the 4th cycle. So I've made it one big hurdle down and one big hurdle to go. Definitely isn't fun, and side effects of as always are pretty humbling, but we're getting there. Okay, so what are we talking about today? And I'll be honest, sometimes it comes up kind of difficult for me for things to continue to talk about this. You can only say so many times that you've been treated, and then you're down in the dumps and lying in bed and sleeping and all that, and recycle, repeat, and redo it all over again. That gets repetitive and boring, but you try to come up with other things to talk about during each of these. And today we've got a big one that's I should have included a while ago, but I'll include it today. Is that one thing you've got to remember is that when you have cancer, when you're going through this journey, regardless of what kind of cancer you have, this is your journey. This is a situation that is all about you. There's no other way to put it. If you're on the selfish side, you probably have already come to that conclusion, and it's kind of the way you live your life anyway. If you are on the more humble side, or you are on the side of the more selfless, which I kind of like to think of myself as, that's a little harder to swallow. That's a big pill to swallow when you have to have that spotlight forced on you, and realize that it is all about you and what your needs are and what you've got to do to get yourself through it. And you can't be afraid to speak out to those around you that are trying to help out, and let them know what you need. It's easy enough to curl into a ball and just be quiet and try to fight the good fight on your own. But it makes a world difference if you open up and you tell the ones around you what you need. This part here is I have a big round of thank yous to give to people, because even though this is all about you, in a lot of ways it's all about them too. And that's all the people that are they're helping you, that from near and afar. So I have a lot of thank yous to give. The first thank you being given to God and Lord Jesus, for having to go through a situation like this, of all the potential cancers that you could potentially get out there, and the ones that are curable and non-curable and manageable and whatever, to be given one that is actually curable and actually does have a very high cure rate, to be the situation that I have to learn and to have in my life. I give thanks to God and to Jesus for giving me one of those, and not something that is completely terminal and something that has no hope. And I thank them for listening to all the prayers that have come in from everybody that has prayed for me. People I have never met, people I never will meet, people that I do know on a regular basis. So thank you. The number 2 biggest thank you I have to give is to my wife, Crystal, who has been by my side nonstop with anything I could probably need, anything that she could anticipate I need, or even the things I was too afraid to ask for and she knew that I needed. She has been my saint and my love. I love you, honey. I thank you so much for everything that you have done and that you continue to do, because 95% of it I would not have thought to do on my own. You've gone from our hectic life with 3 kids to being kind of almost like a single mom with 4 kids, and still doing it with stride and getting up every single day and doing everything that needs to be done flawlessly, and somehow having the energy to do it, especially on the days where I've got none. So thank you. I love you. You're awesome. You're the best. And there's just no other way to say that. Next, thank you I give to my mom. My mom just recently flew out here in the last couple of weeks from her paradise in Hawaii, and she spent a week here helping out around the house, cooking and cleaning, and going places with me, and seeing what I've been going through in this. And she's lucky. She got here on a week where I had a treatment, and the worst effects were a little stomach ache and a lot of tiredness and sleeping. She didn't get to see any of the truly awful things that can happen during these side effect cycles. But thanks, Mom. Thanks for coming out and being with us and helping out. You were a world of help to me and to Crystal and the kids. The next thank you to my mother-in-law, Esther. She, when this first started, one of the first things that they do is they cut you open and they install a port in your chest with a direct line to your heart, and that's where they give the chemotherapy. They just shove this needle right into about here, and it goes straight to my heart, and that's how they give the medicine instead of giving it through an IV in the arm. So my mother-in-law took one of my daughter's infant baby blankets, and she cut it up, and she made what are called port pillows. And there's little pillows that attach to seat belts in the car, and so the pillow goes over and it sits over the port. I think I've talked about it before. It makes it much more comfortable, especially if you've just had the port access to, and in the weeks leading up to when you got the port installed. And I would imagine once this thing finally comes out, we'll probably need it most of them too. So thank you, Esther. Thank you very much for making those for us. There's one for every car, and 1 or 2 in case I lose them as well. The next thank you goes out to my dad and Lexi for the amazing support they have been through this process and helping out as much as they can, and with whatever we needed as well, and constantly checking in to make sure that we're doing okay. So thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for all the help that you have given, and to a big thank you to the rest of the family as well for checking in and and being cheerleaders and always having the good words to say. So thank you guys. I have to thank a couple of churches, none of which I know the names of, but my co-workers at work that go to a few of them have added me to their prayer circles at their churches. So thank you very much. Actually, thank you to the congregations of all of them who I've never met before and have only heard from a couple times through my co-workers about how things are going there. So that's pretty big, pretty huge, to have that kind of support from people that you've never even met. So thank you. And that leads into the next one. The next big thank you goes to all my coworkers, everyone who has kept in touch with me, everyone who has texted, has called, who has emailed, Facebooked, and Twittered, and all that other good stuff. Thank you guys for all your courage. Thank you for everything that you have done. You guys have done so much for me and the family, and still continue to, and that's one of the biggest blessings of all. Over this last week, I've had the opportunity to actually go into my office a couple times, and I can't even begin to say how good it is to see all of you guys and to be around you, even if it's just for a couple hours here and there. And I'm hoping as this process continues, I get a little stronger and I'm able to see you guys a little bit more than what I have been. But if not, then as soon as this process is done, I'll be back. And big thank you to especially to Steve, Brian, and Bruce for taking all my work. You know, I just was promoted, you know, back at the end of last year, and then I promoted again about a month before I fell sick with the pneumonia. But that's forced the three of them to pick up the slack on my role and take over my supervision duties and everything else that comes with it. You know, thank you guys for continuing to do that. And I know I get the calls sometimes saying, "Hey, how soon are you coming back?" Because I know you don't want it, but I'm appreciative, and I will be back as soon as I possibly can. Thank you guys, and thank you to everyone else again there as well. Yeah, I love you guys. So I think that's it. I told myself I was going to write down a list of everyone I needed to thank, and I didn't. So I am running kind of short on my memory there. I should also thank my kids. My kids have been really good, from the oldest to the youngest, and trying to take care of me and be sensitive about my needs and what I need and doing things for me. So thank you guys too. I love you guys. Yeah, I think that's it for the thank you list for now. If you're watching this and you're like, "Hey, why didn't you thank me?" It's because I forgot, plain and simple. So thank you. Chemo fog brain really sucks from time to time. The things you're trying to think of, and it just slips right through your mind. Or if you do remember something and tell yourself, "Oh, I got to do that," and it's gone a minute later, you can't bring it back. It's great to take notes on your phone. And sometimes I do that. I take notes and I look at it later and I'm like, "What are you talking about? What did this even have to do with?" And I can't remember. And eventually, sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't. So if I missed someone that is thinking they should be thanked, please don't be offended. I'm sure I will remember it later, and I will do a round 2 of these later. So what else? So had a treatment yesterday. Had a treatment 2 weeks before that, and a week before that, which was, I think, right after I made the last video, I went in for a PET exam, or a PET scan, I should say, not a PET exam. So they dumped my body full of radioactive material. Still didn't come out with any superpowers. Still kind of disappointed about that, but they shoved me in the machine to take a look at the cancer and see how well the chemotherapy worked. And sure as shit, I got the results before I saw the doctor, same as the first one. I think I saw the doctor 2 days after the result. I got the results in the evening, so the next day went by, and then I had the next day. So I was able to go in there already knowing what it was saying. And good news. I was, you know, there were 3 possibilities. It was cancer's gone. Cancer is reduced by X percentage, showing that the chemotherapy is working to a degree. Or cancer has not improved or gotten worse. So those are the 3 options I got. I got option number 4 that shouldn't have existed, but that's what I got because of what the radiologist wrote in his report. So to keep a long report short, the radiologist said that as far as the Hodgkin's lymphoma is concerned, the disease is virtually gone. All the lymph nodes that were affected and the areas and the peppering that was on the first exam is gone. It is gone to the point where the machine cannot detect it whatsoever. So the cancer cells are not grouped together. The chemotherapy has worked. The brentuximab special stuff that I'm the only one in the hospital that's getting, the new miracle drug, is performing a miracle. And it is saying that I am in 100% remission after only 2.5 months of treatment while having stage 4 cancer. So that is pretty amazing, to go from an advanced disease, cancer, granted still one that was curable, but it was only in the I think 60 or 65% survivor rate for stage 4. To say that it has been completely eradicated out of my body in 2.5 months is pretty awesome. I know I don't really have the words for it. So a lot of praying and a lot of giving thanks, and to everyone that sent out prayers for me, from the people I don't know to the people that I do know. Thank you. He listened. He looked down on me and smiled and said, "This is what you got to go through, but you're going to get through it." And it is certainly looking like I am. So what made it option 4 instead of option 1? The radiologist added inside the result that the initial problem, the Hodgkin's lymphoma, had been virtually removed. However, he has now detected brand new enlarged lymph nodes in the top part of the neck and the back where it meets the jugular that is indicative of a secondary disease. And that's what he wrote in his report and sent to me and the doctor and everything else. So you can imagine our reaction when I read this, to say that one cancer is cured, but maybe I've got another one. Kind of hard to wait 2 days to see the doctor to discuss this. So had a couple people in the medical field and Facebook that I reached out to, and my dad has a friend who's a retired oncologist that reached out to and sent the letter, and he kind of gave a scathing reply back saying that the radiologist was incredibly unprofessional in his review, and he had no business writing it up or suggesting that there was potentially a secondary disease, and that it would be incredibly unlikely that I would have a secondary cancer, especially when the chemotherapy is working a magical charm on the first one. So he recommended Stanford looked at it, and I talked to my oncologist, but he was of the impression that I had nothing to worry about. He also added that the new lymph nodes that he saw were so small that you couldn't even biopsy them to look at them. It was virtually like nothing was there. They were just inflamed. So went to the doctor's appointment, sat down with him, read it over with him. He was also of the same opinion. In fact, the night before my appointment, he had gone to his tumor board meetings where he shared that with everyone, and everyone kind of gave their disgust as well at this radiologist for making an assumption that he had no business making. So I don't know if there was any backlash or anything from that. I've been told that in the medical field, a lot of time medical professionals step outside of their bounds because I don't know, either they feel they need to, or they're used to it, or whatever reason they do. So the plan for me is to, if he hadn't written that in there, I would have not had any more PET scans or anything until a month after all the chemos are treated, and that's just still to confirm that it's gone. In my case, they were going to do another PET scan at the end of the 4th cycle. So yesterday was the end of the 3rd, so I need to get through this side effect round, and I need to get 2 more doses, so all the doses of October, and then probably the first week of November I will go in and have another PET scan done, and that PET scan is just for a peace of mind that everything is normal and still gone, and that whatever he saw is a fluke, and probably has to do with this cold that I have, or upper respiratory infection that I've been fighting for several weeks now, which is excuse me, which is likely the case. So that is done. So we're gonna call this a win. We're gonna call this about as good news as you can get. And you wanna throw a little caveat in there. Okay, fine. We're still going through it. It does kind of suck to get a result saying it's gone from the PET scan and still have to go through the rest of these chemo cycles. Because obviously, if I could stop after the PET scan said it was, I would, because. I'm tired of being weak, and I'm tired of sleeping all day. I'm tired of not having hair. I'm tired of not going to work. I'm tired of not working out. Today is actually the 1-year anniversary of the diet that I started. I put a challenge to myself to lose 35 pounds in a year. It was 215 pounds, and I was trying to get down to 180. I met that goal in 6 months. And then right after that, and that was 6 months of losing all that weight plus putting on quite a bit of muscle. I was actually not looking too bad. I still had some work to go, but I was doing okay. And then I got sick and ended up in the hospital. I actually, in the times in the hospital and when chemo first started, I dropped all the way down to 163 pounds, which was a loss of 52 pounds. And I was looking pretty gaunt, looking kind of like a dead man walking, because I had no muscle. I lost all the muscle in the hospital. It burned it all off as energy. My eyes are all sunken in, and I guess I don't have a double chin anymore, but I still have a little bump of some kind here. But that was all gone. My face was all nasty looking. But the chemotherapy and the steroids that they give you, coupled with eating restrictions and stuff like that, I really haven't been on a diet for the last 6 months, but I've continued to track everything I've eaten and my weight and everything. And so I will end up on the 1-year mark today at 177.6 pounds, which is 37.3 pounds down when the goal was 35 pounds. So mission completed, mission successful, good for me. And now I will, tomorrow, I will probably either delete this app off my phone for a while and forget about it, or maybe I'll start something more manageable and try and drop these 10 pounds that I've added or 10 or 15 pounds I added since the hospital. But that's probably going to be kind of difficult when exercising becomes very, very tedious, and lifting the remote is oftentimes the best that I get, or standing here for long periods of time talking to a camera screen. But I tell you what, after a year of dieting, it is nice to at least be in the condition I am, even if I'm a little heavier right now than I was a couple months ago. I went from a size 40 pant to a size 33. I went from a double XL t-shirt to a medium. I had to buy a whole new wardrobe of clothes, and I gave all the other stuff to Salvation Army and Goodwill and whoever was coming by to collect. So I don't have any big boy clothes anymore, so I don't really want to get bigger and have to throw these away and waste money buying new stuff. So we'll good motivation to continue on this way. Anyway, that's it. I guess for this update. So we are done with the 3rd cycle as soon as these side effects pass. And so, I got dosed up yesterday. The real, I'm tired and I feel kind of shaky today, but the real effects, don't come in until Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they'll last until, Thursday or so before I start feeling better. So I'm gearing up for the real days spent in bed and spent moaning and irritated and in a bad mood. So good time to make this now. We're halfway done. Can't believe it, halfway. So got to get to the end of this year, and then a little physical therapy next year, and another PET scan, and get this port out of me, and then hopefully by Valentine's Day, I'm ready to really start exercising again and getting back to work full time. And that's the hope. So it's the end of September now. We're getting there. We're trucking along. So I hope this has helped anyone that is also going through this process. Like always, there'll be another video at some point. Everybody else, thank you again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting if you do. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.